Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Byron. And when I think back about testing when I was younger, I would have to say that my experiences have been pretty bad. I wasn't particularly great when it came to testing. I would get really anxious and get nervous, and it would inhibit me from doing the best I could on a test or an exam. Um, and that kind of goes same now. I kind of still get anxiety when it comes to taking tests, exams, especially when it comes to math. I'm not that great at it. So it makes me a little bit more nervous and anxious to try and do my best at to pass. Um, the types of tests I remember taking were obviously like homework, homework tests, exams, weekly tests for classes. Um, And then, of course, there were the state exams that you had to pass in order to graduate high school. Back in my day, it was the TOS test. And I didn't do well on the math portion. And I had to retake that test twice. And it was imperative that I pass that test or I wasn't going to be able to graduate. And always it was the algebra or the geometry portion that I didn't do well at. So that was pretty anxious and nerve-wracking for me because everything hindered on passing this test to graduate. Um, those are pretty much my bad experiences with it. Again, affecting me, it would make me nervous, make me anxious. A couple times I actually physically got sick because of the amount of anxiety I had for taking tests. Um, I would say some of the positive experiences I've had with taking tests didn't occur until I actually got to UHCL. Even when I was doing my basics at San Jacinto College, I still had that fear of taking tests. Um, but it wasn't until I got to UHCL and I grew into doing my work and again doing online classes. I had to be self-sufficient. I had to be able to stay on task, and it kind of gave me a little bit more self-confidence to take the tests at my own pace, especially doing them online. Um, has passing a test ever kept me from doing anything I really wanted to do? Well, yeah, of course. You know, when you're in high school, you don't pass a test, you don't get to go out, you get grounded. For myself, I was a cheerleader in high school, so that was an additional stress for me. If I didn't pass a class, at least with a C or a D, if I failed anything, I would be kicked off the cheerleading squad for that next six week or 9 week grading period. So there was tons of incentive and pressure to pass a class, so that I wouldn't miss out on that. Now it's to the point, obviously we don't pass our classes here with a B or higher. We have to retake the test, or we have to retake the class, more or less. That is a little bit of added pressure to make sure that you do well, and do it at the level of that is expected of you in a master's course. So that is pretty nerve-wracking right there. But yeah, these are my experiences, and I'm very sure that a lot of other children have had these experiences as well. I know that my oldest son was very much like myself. He was very nervous when he was taking tests. My other children have not really had that kind of experience. Hopefully, I can learn something about the children that we're going to be observing and interviewing when it comes to taking tests and how it affects them as well. And that'll help me in the future as a teacher to recognize this in my own students, so that I know how it affects them and what I can do to relieve that stress, that anxiety, the pressure on them. That's what I'm looking forward to learning from this class. Thanks.